Welcome back, everybody. Today we're here to talk about The Walking Dead World Beyond, a brand new series in the world of The Walking Dead. Premiered tonight, right after the season 10 finale, and we're going to be discussing episode 1 and reviewing it, breaking it down, all that kind of stuff. So I will say right off the bat, this is going to contain spoilers for the episode in case you haven't seen it. Really solid premiere. I did like this. This series looks really exciting. Really cool stuff happening in this episode. Again, it's going to contain spoilers, so I'll give you time to leave in case you haven't seen it, but definitely check it out and then come back to this review once you've seen it. Let me know what you think about it. And for those who have seen it, let me know in the comments down below, what did you think about this episode? But yeah, this series is looking pretty good. I'm excited for it. Also, before we do begin, I have to say, if you are a fan of The Walking Dead, be sure to subscribe, because we have sneak peeks and trailers for the show coming out, and we're going to be breaking those down, as well as Fear the Walking Dead is going to be returning next week. So we have a lot of Walking Dead content coming up, so be sure to subscribe if you are a fan of the show. But with all that being said, let's get into this. So yeah, this episode was really interesting. It took quite a turn at the end there. Because it was so weird, because when they introduced the world, I was excited for it, and then I'm still excited for the world and what's happening, but just that location that they were at, I thought that was really cool. I love the brand new world. It was like a whole new look at it, and just like a whole new perspective on the apocalypse. And it was almost like, it was so interesting to see like how, comparing what people on The Walking Dead and Fear the Walking Dead do compared to these people. It was really interesting, because like for them, it wasn't even like that the fact that a zombie apocalypse even happened. Like, they were aware of it, but they were just so sheltered. And it just makes it sort of like really interesting and sort of ironic as well, because remember back in season 5, I talked about this in my other video, but back in season 5, when The Walking Dead, like Rick and them, they went to Alexandria, and this was like a whole new thing, like this whole community, and they have everything here in houses. Like, we thought that was insane. And then we have this, like that, they have school and like a gymnasium, and they have all these things that you have in a regular world. And it was so interesting to see. And ultimately I did like it. I thought this was a show that wasn't just like, okay, let's have new characters in a zombie apocalypse. This was something totally different, I thought, and I love that idea. So obviously we met all the new characters. We have Hope and Iris, and then we also have Elton and Silas, and then the two older people, we have Felix and Huck, and then we have the main CRM lady. Her name is Elizabeth. And then we also have Hope and Iris's father, whose name is Leo, who is probably really important. Well, not probably, he is really important. We just haven't seen that much of him. We just heard about him and seen pictures and stuff like that. But apparently, he's doing something really important with the CRM people. And they actually straight up said it, that it's a cure, which I thought was awesome, because that is something that they don't really explore ever on The Walking Dead. I know in the comics they didn't do it, which is fine. That's okay, because what Robert Kirkman was going for was totally different than what AMC is going for. And that main show that they have on AMC, The Walking Dead, that's gonna stay true to Robert Kirkman's comic, which is awesome. But I do love how in this other show they are exploring the possibility of a cure, and I'm very excited for the future. I know this is only 2 seasons, so I don't know if we're gonna ever go to wherever Leo is at and see what he's doing, but the point is, like, I would love to see some sort of actual, maybe them trying to figure out a cure, like see it live with our own eyes rather than just seeing a story or hearing a story. I think that would be awesome. So I just love the whole feel of the show. Like, they have a coming of age feel to it, which is exactly what I'm sure they were going for. We said that they were staying at a university, and we were mentioning before of all these stuff they have, and this is pretty much like a CRM headquarters. It's run by the CRM, which I think is really interesting, because I don't know how many of these types of things they have. I think they have a lot, because they were talking about, they have alliances with Portland, and then we also have the people who are on The Walking Dead in the Virginia area, so that's like across the entire country. They also mentioned, Elizabeth said that their father is in New York, and that's where he's doing his work to find a cure. So they're really scattered like all over the country, which on its own is really fascinating because it just shows how big this community really is. And we don't know for sure, and I'm really interested to see if AMC will actually, like, if that cure is actually going to come into play. Like, are we going to see something like that in the future, like a real cure, and they're going to test it out and stuff like that? Or is it just them experimenting it? Because, they are 10 years into the zombie apocalypse, so we'll see what they do, but I just think that aspect of the show is interesting. So the 4 main kids who left at the end to go explore, I think they're an interesting group. I do like those characters. I mean, I do like Hope and Iris, but I wish we did learn more about Elton and Silas. We didn't learn that much about them in this episode. Like, we know Elton does karate and stuff like that, but we probably will learn more about them in the future. But again, Hope and Iris, I think, are the main characters because it is their father who's dealing with the CRM, and he's the guy who they sent to find a cure and stuff like that. But we learned about Elizabeth. Now, we don't know Elizabeth's role, like, in the grand scheme of stuff, like if she's just a leader in this location, because again, by the looks of it, they're scattered all around the planet, or not the planet, I mean the country. I mean, I don't know about the planet, but definitely the country. So we also learn about their backstory and the plane crash that happened, and yeah, that scene was very scary. I mean, the walkers in the plane was terrifying, and then the scene that showed what happened to Hope and Iris's mom, that scene was dark. I mean, oh my goodness. Just back to back, intense scenes. But yeah, I mean, that was pretty insane. But we learned what happened. Like, that was the backstory and what happened there. And then it was 10 years later, which was like now Monument Day. And we learned in this episode that Hope and Iris, they are suspicious of the CRM, and especially Elizabeth, because again, I mean, I think it makes sense. They're not really telling everybody what's going on. And I don't know if other people questioned it. I think maybe other people, I think they were fearful that other people questioned it or are going to question it, which is why we got that end result. But I did, I mean, that was when they were talking about it at night, and then Elizabeth just like popped up out of nowhere. I really like that scene. I like the scene, especially because Iris was like trying to convince Hope that things are okay, and then Elizabeth, again, comes out of nowhere and just tells them, like, what are you suspicious about? And then I liked how Iris, like, didn't turn to Hope to answer, because it was Hope who was the one saying it. Iris herself answered it, and it kind of shows, well, it showed that probably other people think the same thing. They just don't want to say anything because I guess they're living a good life there. And then on top of that, I just liked how she stood up for her sister. And then we saw at the end there that they got a letter, or they got a message from their dad, Hope and Iris. So Hope, Iris, Elton, and Silas, they all left, and Huck and Felix also left to go look for them. So it was the 6 people who left, but everybody else who stayed back, so Elizabeth and the CRM, they just killed everybody in these communities, or in this one community, which was insane. My jaw dropped when I was watching the episode. I was not expecting that at all. Now, it was really sad, to say the least, because the whole episode we were seeing this world and how everyone there was living a pretty good life, and then at the end they just killed everybody, which was insane. So I'm not sure exactly if she did it because, well, she could have done it for a number. Well, the reason I think she did it was because Iris and Hope were talking about how they're suspicious that they're bad people. And I think because of that, I think Elizabeth and the CRM might have been like worried that, okay, now these 2 girls are going to go tell everybody like what they think, and people are going to start getting suspicious of us. And I think that's why they might have killed everybody, which was insane, because it was like they said in the beginning of the episode, there was like 9,000 people there. Which, I mean, that completely blew my mind when I saw that last scene. So that's the reason why I think they did it. I could be wrong, because they also did it right after Monument Day, which was weird. So I don't know if they had this plan, because it was like 10 years after, this place became what it was. So I don't know if they've had this plan for so long and they just did it right after Monument Day, or did they do it because they were suspicious that, okay, maybe more people are going to, or not that they weren't suspicious, but they were worried that other people will be suspicious, just like Hope and Iris was. So I think that might have been the reason, but again, we don't know for sure. So yeah, that was a sad scene, seeing that community pretty much fall. because of the CRM themselves. They did it. So the 4 kids, they left. Felix and Huck, they left. So I'm sure Felix and Huck are gonna try to help out the kids, especially if they find out what they did, what the CRM people did. So we'll see where the show heads from here, because that was quite a turn. I didn't expect that. So I think they might just be on the road the entire time, which isn't bad or anything like that. They're gonna find other communities and other stuff, and the CRM is they're gonna be chasing them probably, because we saw at the end that they couldn't find them. So overall, it was a solid first episode. Definitely set up some things and definitely took a turn at the end there that I wasn't expecting. But I am excited to see the future of the show and where it goes from here. You guys let me know your thoughts and opinions about this in the comments down below. Are you excited for the show? How'd you like the first episode? Let me know all your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. But again, I'm going to wrap it up there. So hopefully you guys did enjoy. Be sure to stay tuned for a lot more Walking Dead videos coming out soon, because we're back in the Walking Dead season. So if you are a fan, be sure to subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching, everybody. Please stay safe, and I'll see you guys soon.